There are realities we cannot avoid. One of them is the importance of self-esteem. The turbulence of our times demands strong selves with a clear sense of identity, competence, and worth. It is a dangerous moment in history not to know who we are or not to trust ourselves. The stability we cannot find in the world, we must create within our own persons. To face life with low self-esteem is to be at a severe disadvantage. If we are careless in our thinking, then the subject will suffer a fate worse than being ignored. It will become trivialized. Most people underestimate their power to change and grow. They believe implicitly that yesterday's pattern must be tomorrow's. They do not see that choices do exist. The belief that they are powerless becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. To trust one's mind and to know that one is worthy of happiness is the essence of self-esteem. If I persevere, the likelihood is that I will succeed more often than I fail. If I don't, the likelihood is that I will fail more often than I succeed. Either way, my view of myself will be reinforced. High self-esteem seeks the challenge and stimulation of worthwhile and demanding goals. Low self-esteem seeks the safety of the familiar and undemanding. The quicker we are to pick ourselves up after a fall, the more energy we have to begin anew. The higher our self-esteem, the more ambitious we tend to be, emotionally, intellectually, creatively, spiritually. The lower our self-esteem, the less we aspire to, and the less we are likely to achieve. Either path tends to be self-reinforcing and self-perpetuating. The higher our self-esteem, the stronger the drive to express ourselves, reflecting the sense of richness within. The lower our self-esteem, the more urgent the need to prove ourselves, or to forget ourselves by living mechanically and unconsciously. The higher our self-esteem, the more open, honest, and appropriate our communications are likely to be, because we believe our thoughts have value and therefore we welcome rather than fear clarity. We tend to feel most comfortable, most at home, with persons whose self-esteem level resembles our own. Note that I am speaking of passionate love, not a brief infatuation or sexual episode which can operate by a different set of dynamics. The most disastrous relationships are those between persons who think poorly of themselves. The union of two abysses does not produce a height. There is no greater barrier to romantic happiness than the fear that I am undeserving of love and that my destiny is to be hurt. Such fears give birth to self-fulfilling prophecies. We have all heard the observation that if you do not love yourself, you will be unable to love others. Less well understood is the other half of the story. If I do not feel lovable, it is very difficult to believe that anyone else loves me. If I do not accept myself, how can I accept your love for me? Even if I consciously disown my feelings of being unlovable, even if I insist or try to insist that I am wonderful, my poor self-concept remains deep within to undermine my attempts at relationships. Unwittingly, I become a saboteur of love. I attempt love, but the foundation of inner security is not there. Instead, there is the secret fear that I am destined only for pain. So I pick someone who inevitably will reject or abandon me. Or, if I pick someone with whom happiness might be possible, I subvert the relationship by demanding excessive reassurances, or by venting irrational possessiveness, or by making catastrophes of small frictions, or by seeking control through subservience or domination, by finding ways to reject my partner before my partner can reject me. Not today. The possibility of happiness in the present is too terrifyingly immediate. Happiness anxiety is very common. Happiness can activate internal voices saying, I don't deserve this, or it will never last, or I'm riding for a fall, or happiness is only an illusion, or nobody else is happy, so why should I be? What is required for many of us is the courage to tolerate happiness without self-sabotage, until such time as we lose the fear of it and realize that it will not destroy us and it need not disappear. See if you can get through today without doing anything to undermine or subvert your good feelings. And if you fall off the wagon, don't despair. Pull yourself back up and recommit yourself to happiness. Such perseverance is self-esteem building. The question is sometimes asked, is it possible to have too much self-esteem? No, it is not, no more than it is possible to have too much physical health or too powerful an immune system. Sometimes self-esteem is confused with boasting or bragging or arrogance, but such traits reflect not too much self-esteem, but too little. They reflect a lack of self-esteem. Persons of high self-esteem are not driven to make themselves superior to others. They do not seek to prove their value by measuring themselves against a comparative standard. Their joy is in being who they are, not in being better than someone else. The sad truth is, whoever is successful in this world runs the risk of being a target. People of low achievement often envy and resent people of high achievement. Those who are unhappy often envy and resent those who are happy. Nothing we do will ever feel like enough. If my aim is to prove I am enough, the project goes on to infinity. So it is always one more victory, one more promotion, one more sexual conquest, one more company, one more piece of jewelry, a larger house, a more expensive car, another award, yet the void within remains unfilled. In today's culture, some frustrated people who hit this impasse announce that they have decided to pursue a spiritual path and renounce their egos. This enterprise is doomed to failure. An ego in the mature and healthy sense is precisely what they have failed to attain. They dream of giving away what they do not possess. No one can successfully bypass the need for self-esteem. We must learn to think for ourselves, to cultivate our own resources, and to take responsibility for the choices, values, and actions that shape our lives. Self-esteem is the disposition to experience oneself as competent to cope with the basic challenges of life and as worthy of happiness. To have high self-esteem, then, is to feel confidently appropriate to life. To have low self-esteem is to feel inappropriate to life, to feel wrong, not about this issue or that, but wrong as a person. To have average self-esteem is to fluctuate between feeling appropriate and inappropriate, right and wrong as a person. It is also to manifest these inconsistencies in behavior, sometimes acting wisely, sometimes acting foolishly, thereby reinforcing the uncertainty about who one is at one's core. If we respect ourselves, we tend to act in ways that confirm and reinforce this respect, such as requiring others to deal with us appropriately. If we wish to raise the level of our self-respect, we need to act in ways that will cause it to rise. And this begins with a commitment to the value of our own person. The need to see ourselves as good is the need to experience self-respect.